that.
All right, I'm just going to wait until I see that we are here, because my little preview should be popping up any second now. There it is. We are officially live. The second episode of the Expendable Crew. You are allowed to rename yourselves at some point. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here one more time. I'm so surprised we ever made it this far. My name is Andy Johnson. I am the voice of the world. We got everybody introduce yourselves. We'll introduce new characters when you come into the game. But for the 3 returning people, feel free to introduce yourself and your character.
All right. I go first. I am Jesse, also known as Grump64 in the world of the internet. I am currently playing Frik, the bugbear drunken master monk. Before he came to the kingdom, he was known as one of the monks of the drunken monastery run by dwarfs, and he became part of the monastery ever since he was a wee little bugbear, as these dwarves took him into their care and learned the ways of the drunken fist. And during this time, he also tried his levels of being an archaeologist. So he studied the ways of dungeons, and it turned out that's where he likes to be. And when he's not in a dungeon or any of the sorts of underground, he can get a little finicky. That's why the drinking comes in handy.
Raina, looks like you're up.
Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm known on Twitch as NerdChick2791, and I play Rihanna, a tiefling rogue. Basically, my whole game is to talk my way in and out of things and snatch what I can when nobody's looking. So that's it.
All right, and next up we have Michael.
I am back. Michael is a...
Michael, I can't hear you at all. You guys still there?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm having some issues tonight as well again, apparently.
Okay.
But yeah, I am Reverent. I play Michael Bradmore, the greatest bard on the planet. He pretty much did all that he could last session to try and be the greatest bard ever, and got on everybody's nerves. So just continuing on from that tonight.
I'm sending you a question in Discord chat. So, Michael, and then we will get into because this will affect something that happens depending on what you just answer, because it's something we talked about, but we talked about a lot. Okay, here's the recap for last time. The 3 that you just met were all in jail for one reason or another. Maybe they didn't deserve to be in jail, but they were, because ever since the good King William died and his brother King Wilson took over the kingdom 2 years ago, it has become a tyrannical nightmare. And laws change based on the whims of the people in charge. So they were all in jail, and they were given an opportunity to earn their freedom. Victor, the king's chamberlain, wanted to reclaim an artifact that had slipped out of the care of the monks known as the Keepers of the Dead. Well, obviously, since they're all still here, they managed to survive by making a deal with the Keepers at pretty big risk to themselves to get out of their deal with Victor. And they have been there for a couple of days. Now, you spent these couple of days recovering. Okay, Michael, I did get your answer. Like I said, that's going to be a little something that I toss in during some of this recap right now. So, during these 2 days, while they were helping make sure that there was no adverse effects from having your arm cut off, your arm necromantically reanimated, and then letting it reattach itself to you, Your arms are fine. You haven't done anything weird. You've been practicing your skills. You're just as dexterous. Um, Michael, of course, spent his first day filling the halls of the monastery with bagpipe music until it was discovered that perhaps those bagpipes were actually a cursed item themselves and they had to be rushed away to the vault to be properly vetted. Michael, they supplied you with a lute that was only slightly out of tune. And after that, I can imagine a few things that might have happened, but how did you three want to spend your time? While, like I said, the keepers promised to get you out of Wildom if you wanted to. They're still working on that. They did ask that those of you who don't blend into human society maybe not leave the monastery because two of you stand out greatly, and Michael can't keep his trap shut long enough. So they asked you not to leave for your safety, but it wasn't. They're not your keepers. They won't force you to do anything. And there's only a few sections of the monastery that were not allowed to you. So what did you spend the last 2 days doing?
I imagine if assuming that any levels of alcohol is produced, I'd like to continue honing my skills and continue my meditation.
Okay, in that case, yes, the monastery's potions brewmaster wanted to meet whoever shrugged off his sleeping potion so quickly, and it turns out he does brew more than just potions. So the two of you have definitely spent some time perfecting the art of ale crafting, and much taste testing and revelry has occurred during that time.
Indeed.
Frik, one thing that happened to you last session was you were bitten by a were-rat, and you critically failed that roll. They were able to cure most of the lycanthropy. You will notice now scents are a lot sharper, and when you are practicing your martial arts, you notice that you, in addition to bludgeoning, you can also cause slashing damage. So you kept your claws get a little bit sharper, your sense of smell, you have advantage on perception that relies on smell now. That is permanent. It is not being taken away.
Awesomeness.
Okay, who else is up? I don't know who is testing in chat. We can see you. I was joking when I said you failed the test.
No, it's because my bandwidth keeps slowing down, so I missed out on half the stuff that you guys talked about just then. But
can you hear
I'm
me
back.
now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, well, while you're here, that was stuff for Frik, and your bagpipes were taken away because they turned out to be a cursed item, and they had to take it away from you right quick. They gave you a lute that is, you were able to retune. What has Michael been doing for the past couple days?
Well, he's been doing exactly what he promised he would do with Frik, where he was teaching him all the big words in between what Frik was doing. But mainly he's started to actually write down all the actions that they did into like an epic skaldic poem, and then trying to procure some supplies for himself, just like a simple disguise kit, and then going out from there to try and get some stuff to keep himself busy, and just in case they decided that he was needed for any sort of retrievals that are still out there.
Pete, to answer your question, we can all hear Michael. I don't know why you can't.
Weird.
All right. Could you try rebooting your Discord? Maybe it's something in there. Jen, can you hear us all?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'm not sure why you're the only one that can't. Okay, I'm sorry about that, Michael. I was distracted. You were teaching Frik big words. What else was it? Michael, you there? Okay, he's probably having his own connection problems. Rihanna, what have you been doing?
Well, when they presented me with my choice of a couple different cloaks as a thank you for helping, I chose Cloak of the Bat because, well, who doesn't want to fly? So I, sort of been sneaking out at night and testing it out and flying around and just basically.
All right, that is cool. So you have been flying around the town at night. I'm going to say
As
that
a bat.
yeah, as a bat.
Appalling.
Yeah. I'm getting just a little bit of a. We'll see if everything clears up. Sorry, a little bit of your sound sort of fizzled there, but I understood. Yes, with the Cloak of the Bat, you in the dark you can turn into a bat and fly around. I'm going to say you probably didn't find out too much if you were trying, or if you were just flying around just to fly around, or if you were looking for something.
It was a little bit of recon, but mostly just to test it out.
Okay. One other thing I do want to note is that while Michael was playing at the bar, he started to collect a little bit of change, and while the monks did give you some funds to help you get started with your lives, if you took a look at the coins that you received at the bar, you will notice that a handful of them were the old king's profile, King William's profile. So most people, if you didn't change out, you could be arrested for treason. The reasons why some people wouldn't. For one thing, the exchange rate was terrible. There was a reminting fee that was pretty outrageous, so maybe people just couldn't afford to do it. Maybe they hadn't heard the rule. Maybe that's something you'll want to think about later on.
Or maybe it could be a sign of an underground resistance. Ooh.
Maybe.
I like that idea.
So, okay. Well, like I said, the monks have asked you to stay while they try to, if you want to leave town, they can attempt to, get you onto a caravan or something. But today, they're having a few visitors come in. So, Pete, Jen, go ahead and introduce your characters.
Ladies first.
Okay. My character is Jesslyn. She is a divine soul sorcerer. She's very petite, silvery hair, bluish violet eyes. She's kind of quiet, maybe a little timid. That's all for now.
And Pete?
Yeah.
My name is Pete. I will be playing the Sirius Goldleaf wizard. Stands about 5'6", weighs about 110. A pasty white skin, but he's got golden hair with his golden eyes. A little handsome if you could get some pompous.
Pete, you're cutting out on me.
Same.
All right, so
Yeah, he's very arrogant.
Oh, you're going to get along well with my guy.
I was just going to say, he and Michael are going to become BFFs.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Viserius and Jesselyn, you have, however recently you left your homes and started your adventuring career, you've, had to, like everybody else, you take up a few odd jobs. One of them was an escort mission. There was a high-ranking dignitary and a very large crate that needed to be delivered to the capital. And, of course, it was naturally going to the Keepers of the Dead. And so at this point, you are, coming up to the monastery. There's the giant graveyard surrounding the whole thing. And there was a little bit of excitement along the way. I mean, nothing that you guys couldn't handle, but if you want to give me perception rolls, we'll see if you noticed anything unusual during your travel. Okay, Jesselyn, you saw nothing out of the ordinary. There were some trees, maybe. They were all really pretty.
Probably very pretty, yes.
Yeah. And
15 for me.
no, you were in the monastery. This
All right,
was
my
this was for the
apologies.
travelers. So, Viserius, are you there?
Here.
Okay, give me a perception roll, please. This was during your travels with the dignitary and a couple of fellow monks. Okay, 21. You did see, like I said, there was some goblinoid raiders, and that could range from goblins to hobgoblins. Again, nothing you couldn't really handle. You did see a surprising number of dead orcs during your travel. And with that roll, I will say that you notice it looked like someone was harvesting parts of the ogres. So there was that. But now, like I said, you arrive at the keep, and your dignitary friend jumps out, and he's just bursting through the door. Mal, I am back at last. I'm going to say that the three of you were there talking to the head monk. You've known him as Brother Thorn. He looks at him. I have told you time and time again. Refer to me as Brother Thorn. Oh, come on now, Mal. It's not like that. Rihanna, you recognize this handsome silver-eyed devil. As he looks at you, like, Rihanna, it's been so long. This is the man you knew as Malik.
Malik, it has been so long, darling.
And he's trying to walk over and give you a hug, but Brother Thorn puts his hand on him. Malik, you took my name. You weren't using it, Brother Thorn. You took my name. I needed a new one. You weren't there. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. And then he goes around Brother Thorn to give you a hug. What are you doing here, my love?
Oh, after things went kind of south, and I haven't been able to find Silas or Zahara again, I ended up here, and I guess just because I'm not human, I must have done something wrong, and I ended up in jail, and yeah, now I'm here.
You do something wrong. Never.
No, I was framed, honestly. It was racial.
Of course. But that does answer a question I had. We stopped off at a bar, and he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a piece of paper and starts unfolding it. And there was this young man who was handing out these, and he hands you a very well-drawn picture of yourself. And he's like, this young man is going around asking about you. And I mean, like, he spends all of his free time drawing these. And he starts to fold it up and put it back into his pocket, unless you...
I'll keep this, thank you.
Okay, so you've got a fan club, it seems. That's interesting.
Yes. Well, just needed a little information, and so I did what I do, and he was very helpful.
Yeah.
To be fair, she did manage to distract him through one of my performances, and that is not a very easy feat.
Malik just sort of looks at you like, why are you interrupting this conversation? And then right back to Rihanna. Because he dismisses you.
Let me introduce. Yes, Malik. I should introduce you to this rude man here. This is Michael,
Nice.
and this lovely creature here is Frik.
Oh.
And I just come out of meditation.
Yeah, and he's like, wow, you're kind of tall. My traveling companions. This is Viserius and Jeslyn. I would love to stay and chat, but I am here on business. Mal, that big thing you wanted, it's out there. They can bring it in. And he turns to you, Rihanna. It's like, I kind of promised him I would help them remint a few coins, so I should probably go get to the workshop. And
Okay.
Brother
Well,
Thorn has been staring at him ever since he found out he was stealing his identity. He's insufferable at times, but he does excellent work, and he was an old friend. And he turns to the serious. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, where can I find you at if I want to come calling on you later, Malik?
I'll be in one of the workshops. I'm around. Don't you worry.
Good. We'll have to catch up on old times.
Brother Thorn turns to Viserys and Jeslyn. Thank you very much for escorting this. It was an important artifact that we might be able to make use of, and then he, of course, makes sure that you have been paid. That was the money we discussed earlier. So everyone is here together. If you want to, sort of introduce yourselves to each other.
Yeah. The second that it's pretty much like quite clear that Jesselyn is part of that group, Michael actually breaks from everything and runs straight at her and goes to hug her. How could anyone forget hair that silver and eyes that color? It has been many a year since I last saw you.
It's nice to see you. I'll hug him back, blushing like crazy. How have you been?
I've been all right. Last I saw you, you were no taller than most. I can't even remember.
I'm still not very tall, honestly.
How's everything been back home? How's everyone there?
Well, it's been good. I mean, Layla's getting really big.
Really? And her mother?
She's good. I actually have something for you. Hold on. And I will spend a few moments sorting through my bag, and I will pull out a small stack of letters and hand them over.
Yeah, and Michael just grabs hold of those, and he's just like holding on to them for dear life.
Michael, here's what you know about looking at the stack of letters. Most of them are ones you wrote.
Oh.
On the top, though, there is one and I just had her name. Her name is in the letter. I'm going to send you a letter in Discord. This was her letter to you. Those other ones, Jeslyn would have told you that her father if he could intercept a letter, he kept it from her. He burnt a bunch of them. These are just the ones that Jeslyn was able to keep from being destroyed. But I'm sending you her letter to you now. So if you want to read that, we can, the rest of us can sort of go on and you can catch up just as soon as you read it.
Yeah, he opens that up and just goes silent reading it. And that allows everybody else to go on what they were doing.
And Brother Thorn, saw over with Viserys during this. Again, it was very kind of you to escort this. I know that the roads can be dangerous.
Laugh in the face of danger.
I am sure you do. Please
It's
tell
true,
me.
he actually does.
Please tell me. Was there anything of note on your trip?
Yes, I did realize amount of orcs saying that some of their bodily parts had been cut out. Goblins and goblinoid creatures were also scattered amongst them.
I am afraid that goblin raiders and the like are not that unusual. The more the soldiers encroach upon their former hunting grounds, the more they turn to banditry. There is a tribe that once was not quite so active, known as the Clan of the Hollow Tree, but again, the more people encroach on their former hunting grounds, the more they must change their own lifestyle, and unfortunately, that means they try to attack raiders. I am pleased that you were not harmed in the way. The ogre part is a bit concerning, but then again, ogres are particularly vicious and certainly known for fighting among themselves.
Yes, just savages.
Ogres. I will tell you this right quick, guys. In my world, anything that is humanoid and intelligent, it has its own moral code. So that means orcs tend to live in rougher territories. They are more warlike. They are not inherently evil. They just don't get along with people that well because they are definitely a war community. The goblins and the goblinoids, Frik is actually a goblinoid. Bugbears are a cousin of goblins. And as you've seen, he is a very delightful person. So yes. The goblins and the hobgoblins, when they turn to life of banditry, because they used to be far removed from any sort of what you would call civilization, but if they start turning to banditry to supplement their lifestyle, and especially when you live maybe 10 to 15 years as old age, it's not very long before pretty soon you are a generation of raiders. And as a kingdom expands and takes over their land, they tend to start stealing from the kingdom because they think it's fair. So again, they're not inherently evil, they just clash with humans. Some clans actually do get along with small villages, and it's unusual, but it's totally possible. Ogres, male ogres especially, let me rephrase that, bull ogres, they are vicious and stupid because they've got so much testosterone that they just want to fight. The female ogres are somewhat intelligent. They're still pretty strong, but female ogres and any ogre that is castrated at a young age, they can have a society all their own. The bull ogres, not so much. They will fight amongst themselves. So, okay. Again, I thank you so much. We will certainly start to look into that. Michael, have you finished your letter?
Yeah, I have. He's going to run outside of the foyer and go to a very quiet place and cast sending real fast.
Okay. Who are you casting sending to?
Angela.
Okay. What do you want to say to her?
It's only 25 words that he can send over to her mentally, so he's going to say, I know, King Wilson, be very, very, very cautious on what you're doing.
Okay. And I believe she gets to send a similar reply back to you?
Yes.
Her reply is that Father says it's for the best and all will be well.
Yeah, okay. Michael's going to be coming back to the main group now, okay. And he's not looking all too happy.
Is everything okay?
No, I've gotten the worst news ever.
Oh no, you're pregnant.
Did something happen to Layla? Wait, no, that is not possible.
Possible?
No. I would have known. I brought the letter myself. Sorry, I just got nervous.
Oh, the letter was sealed, so...
Terry, you went robot for me. What'd you say?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. When he says he got the worst news possible, and my response is, oh dear, did somebody upstage you and make you look bad?
Yes, King Wilson. He's marrying my former lover.
Oh.
You do know that the Harvest Festival is about 8 months from now, so there's a lot of planning involved.
I have only 8 months to prevent the wedding and save my daughter and the love of my life.
Your daughter?
Yes.
You-
I don't. Yes. Somebody actually was able to put up with me long enough to have a child with me.
So you're pregnant. I called it.
8 years late for that.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
She's a gem. She's beautiful. She likes art. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, of course she likes art. She has me.
I mean, painting.
Oh. That's probably more Angela's influence then.
She's very good.
Well, that's no doubt. She has me as a father, and I'm the greatest there ever was.
That is very true.
Yeah. Ow. Sorry about that.
Okay, I was about to ask.
His ego
Brother
got
Thorn
too big
has.
for a skull.
Hmm?
I said his ego got too big for a skull.
His ego got so large that we had to leave the bar he was performing in.
I believe it.
Brother
No.
Thorn looks up at that. You played. What bar did you play at?
The Prancing Pony.
What songs did you sing?
Well, I sang a common folk tale, and then the Fall of Tir Nanag.
I love that one.
He's just got this thoughtful look on his face. That might explain it.
Explain.
Some of our emissaries, our spies about town, has said that the Prancing Pony has become very popular in the last 2 days, especially with those who find the king unfavorable. There have been some rumors of whispers, rather, that there was a man who was inspiring them all to revolt through coded song.
I would never at that moment, but now maybe.
That's odd. All I heard.
Carrie, for some reason you keep getting distorted. Try that again.
When he says that, I look at Michael and I say, "Oh, that's funny. All I got out of that was a lot of
Sorry, a lot of...
noise."
Okay. I'm sorry.
You're thinking of someone else.
Well, of course you would have. I was trying to cover for you, able to get information, and apparently you made the biggest flirtation.
Yes, well, how was I supposed to know that poor young man was so easy to manipulate?
I like your horns. They're very pretty.
Oh, why, thank you, dear. I love your hair. It's a beautiful color.
Thank you. I'm Jess.
Rihanna.
Frik.
Frik. Hello.
And for those of you who forget, Frik is 8 feet tall, covered in fur. He is a Wookiee.
Oh,
He's actually a bugbear, but he's very large. And so if you aren't familiar with, I mean, you've been adventuring for a while, but this one might be new to you.
And Jess is 5'4".
Okay, then he towers over you.
Yeah.
Yeah. After a few moments, Michael finally pays attention to Vess, and he's just kind of looking him over very slowly, and then his eyes go very wide. And then he greets Vess in Elven.
Someone who has a semblance of intelligence amongst us.
Would you happen to be from Vess Van Helen? Or Vess Van Helen? Van Halen?
Indeed, I am.
Oh, you must regale us then. You must tell us everything that you've been through in order to get here.
That is a story best left untold.
Oh, then shall we get drinks sometime?
Was all that in Elvish or in Common?
That was all in Elvish.
All in
Dang it.
Elvish.
All right, I didn't hear it. Dang it.
Oh, I did, because I speak Elvish. So I look at Mike in Elvish and say, oh, that sounds like a lovely idea.
And this is where Michael's not surprised that that Reyna knows Elvish, because she's pretty much like the Avenging Angel, and therefore she would have to pretty much know every single language in order to talk to whoever she was about to kill.
I don't kill people. I get information.
And take them to where they're properly, justly to be punished.
I wouldn't mind something to eat.
Oh, yes. Excuse my manners. Sorry. And Michael starts to lead them towards the common eating area, if that's still open.
It would be, but during y'all's conversation, Brother Thorn's been over there, his eyes just twitching while he's thinking. He's like, you don't understand, do you? If you are inciting revolt in this kingdom, we have to get you out tonight. It is not safe for any of you. If Victor
I vote for safety.
Sorry?
I vote for safety.
I haven't played at the Prancing Pony since that night, though, so if they're saying that I am still alive playing there, that means that there's somebody who is using my identity to play there, or they're just using that to try and find us because they don't really believe that we're dead.
And if Victor hears that, what do you think he will do? He has people scouring for your bodies already.
I believe several different things that might include fire and genitalia.
That would be if you're lucky. Inside here, we are warded. He can't see through our walls. If you leave, he has ways of finding you. You must... And he just rushes off. I must get this... I must get you out of here as soon as possible.
I might have a place that we can
I'm
fall back
good.
to.
I put on my hat of disguise and completely change my appearance. I'm like, I'm good.
Oh, yes. Because minor trickery magic is going to fool him for long. And he just starts to storm off. You're free to follow, or you can go get something to eat.
Michael actually starts to follow him.
Okay.
Hey, wait a second, Mike. What about that woman that you were on stage with? Could she be part of the revolt? Perhaps you inspired her, and maybe she used another song as we left.
Oh no, then she's going to be in trouble. We need... And the blacksmith who helped us as well, if it's found out that we're still alive, and because he armored us, it could be seen as a subversion by him as well.
Indeed.
We should get them all out of the city then.
That blacksmith is currently under the employ of Victor. That means he's wearing one of those bracers that will kill him, too.
That's easier said than done.
I'm sorry, everybody talked at once.
Victor.
Victor is a disgusting, vile, evil little man who gets enjoyment from hurting others, and he needs to die.
Long story short, he was a prick to Frik.
Is he an elf?
And guys, in your handouts, there is a picture of Victor, just for reference. So I'm popping it up on my screen. Feel free to go and take a look at it. Yes, he is known to be the King's Chamberlain, advisor, one of the cruelest torturers known. Vile and conniving are the best ways to describe him.
Yeah, we're going to. Yeah, we need to get my fellow bard out of here as well as get the frack out of here.
Fine, we'll send someone for this girl. What was her name?
I never really got a name off of her. She was apparently she was the regular for the prancing pony. Small, blonde, not much talent, but very big on looks.
So we should go into the district where this particular bar was. I have it written down somewhere. Give me just one sec, guys. Yes, the prancing pony. That would be in the North Galt area. We will just go to North Galt, and we will get every attractive blonde woman and send her out of town. That won't go unnoticed.
Well, sounds like a plan.
No, that's a very bad plan.
Michael.
I'm new. No one knows
Perhaps-
me. I could go in there and retrieve her.
I could go in disguise with you.
Well, you did say she usually performs, right? I'm sure not every attractive blonde woman performs.
Depends on which type of performance.
Oh, okay.
There are other
Right,
bars
right.
in that town. You only visited one.
Jesselyn, remember the stories that I used to sing about? There's other ways that they can perform.
Yes, I am. Yes, I remember.
Michael, really? Look, you're embarrassing this poor child.
She's no
I mean-
longer a child. Hasn't been one for several years.
That's true.
Well, she's still very young and inexperienced, obviously.
You broke Frik.
No, they broke me. They didn't break Frik.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like
Oh.
so bright red.
I pull out the drawing that Malik came in with and showed me, and I said, well, I could probably find somebody to help us locate this woman.
Brother Thorn snatches that away from you and looks at it. Oh no. What did you do?
She was just herself. Seriously, look at her. Look at her. Look at that beauty. She could pretty much pass for a god, and everybody would take note and remember her face.
Oh,
Sure you're
well,
happy.
I did was have a drink or two.
And Brother Thorn is looking at you, and he turns the paper around. And you don't think Victor will remember your face? What do you think this is going to cost that young man?
Well, for all he knows, after we saw him, which was the day we were released, something happened to us and we died. I mean, he hasn't been able to find me yet. Am I wrong?
It's not about what Victor thinks. It's about what he thinks he can learn from someone. In this case, if he finds out about this man drawing pictures of you, he's going to wind up in an interrogation also. Victor
It also-
always
they
knows
won't, they
how
won't
to
get anything
unleash.
out of him. They won't get anything out of him. I mean, I didn't tell him
No.
anything about us.
They won't get anything out of him. That won't stop them from trying, though. You
We
three
need
are
to
more
get-
destructive than I ever imagined.
Hey! I'm not destructive. I just make a lasting impact. Now, what happens with that lasting impact is what other people can deem can be done. But yes, I can see that right now we could be used as martyrs for a cause, or we could try and save those that we have impacted and get out of here, and then continue on the cause outside. You yourself have to admit that Wilson and Victor must be taken down. I especially want Victor taken out of the picture because of the fact that he's a prick. But I also need Wilson taken out of the picture because this is now a matter of love, and warfare's gone completely out the window when it comes to rules.
So, let me get this straight. You wish, with your small band to storm the castle, slay the king, his advisor, any guards that get in the way, and you haven't even seen the captain of the guards.
No, I wasn't thinking that directly, but I was thinking we could try and get out of here along with the two people, start to raise up an entire resistance, and then storm the castle with about several 100,000 people.
Oh yes, we will just secretly raise a band of mercenaries in the forest, and we will swing in and we will save the day, and this is not one of your tales. This is reality, and the reality is that you have left a lasting impression, like a bolt of lightning hitting a tree, leaving a lasting impression. If you want to live, you have to leave now, and you have to ignore every other problem you have just caused. I am going to go and see how soon we can get you hidden in a caravan, because at this rate, there's going to be checkpoints all across the kingdom. And if we're lucky, it will only be the guards. And he storms off this time.
Michael, dear?
Yes?
I don't think we need an army. This sort of thing can be done with quiet stuff, if you know what I mean. Like, just quietly problems.
But I wanted to ride at the front of a battle figure.
You could get hurt.
He's insinuating an assassination.
Yes, I know. But I wanted to ride at the front of an army. Okay, we'll do the assassination route. But will I at least be able to ride at the front of an army while you do so?
Unless you've got an army somewhere in your bag.
Jesselyn, I love your response. Get this poor woman some food.
Yes. So apparently, your friend here, this lovely little creature, and that one, must be hungry. Perhaps we should go find some food, sit down, and discuss our options. Frik, what do you think?
I could use a good food and a drink.
I'll go off
Drink?
with Brother Thorn. I'll go off and Brother Thorn and discuss on where we could go out to hide. I might know a few places that we can go and do such.
Okay, so most of you go into the kitchen. There's plenty of food there. Frik will probably pull out a couple of casks of ale that he had personally stored.
Imagine that's first priority for him.
All right. So let's go ahead and stick with Michael following Brother Thor. He's trying to go into his office. He's yelling at random people, to try to organize, find out where the nearest caravan is that they have influence over.
Just remember your teachings and what you teach. Breathe. Don't hit me too hard. My face is how I make my bread.
He turns it on you. You have done enough. Go. I will fix your problems as much as possible.
This kingdom needs a lot more than just your own influence to be fixed.
My influence stretches no further than what we keep in that vault. I am not here to fix diplomatic issues. I am trying to save your life because you helped us, and I am trying to return that favor. Do not make that harder.
I am trying to return things to the way that they were as well, and I'm trying to prevent the death, the potential for my daughter and my lover from being killed by that man.
And that is beyond our control. We do not affect the politics of this land. We keep...
Yes, but but how long do you think you can hold off Victor from taking full influence over Wilson?
We do what we can, and if we must, we will try to get all these artifacts out of here. but we are not going to go to war. That is not our cause.
I am not telling you to go to war.
That is
I am
exactly what you are
asking
telling me to do. You are telling me to slay a king. That is war.
I'm saying for us to do that. I'm saying that is our thing. What I am asking for you to do is just get us out there so that we can do that.
You want to go out there? You know where the door is. If you want to be safe, you will let me get you to the other side of this kingdom as quickly as possible. Now go.
I have a third option. There's a small farmstead out on the outskirts. If you get us there, I can try and get us to work from that point.
I don't think you understand. You're warded in here. Out there, Victor has ways of finding you. If I get you far enough away, maybe you'll survive. If you want to go to that farmstead, then go. I will lead you horses.
Who would live their life on the run like that?
That's what happens when you escape from prison.
I'm not just escaping from prison here.
Your choices
I actually hand over the note to him. Look at this. This is going... whether I want to be out of it completely or not, I have no choice in this.
And he hands the note back. I am terribly sorry for your loss. But this one kingdom does not compare to what we have in our vault. What we do is protect life, not an individual life. We protect life. And life is hard sometimes. Life can be cruel, and winter will pass one day, and this land will be green and lush again. But we don't go to war. And he slams the door to his office, leaving you there. All right, so back in the kitchen.
Jesselyn, darling, sit down. Have something to eat.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
I should wait till you're finished.
Why? You're not a serving girl. You're a guest here. Sit down.
Are you
Well, if
sure?
she's going to just stand there, she should fetch me some food.
I mean,
Excuse me. What makes you think she should be waiting on you?
no, I don't mind. I don't mind.
Pretty good use.
No, Jesselyn, have a seat. You, sir, are rude.
Are you sure?
Yes, you're not a servant.
Okay.
You may be seated.
I will sit down and eat very little.
Frik, you want to pass some of that ale down here, dear?
Certainly.
And I just started to pass him through.
And I don't let them allow me in the kitchen. Apparently they're worried I'll get hair in everyone's food.
A little hair never killed anyone.
I know, right? Sheesh. Very strict in the kitchen.
Where are all the attendants?
So, Jess, and I'm sorry, what was your name again? I look at Visarius.
Visarius. Visarius Goldleaf. We're at my service.
Okay, so how did you two manage to get roped into bringing my good friend Malik here, along with whatever it was that he brought with him?
I was traveling alone.
Pete, I'm afraid I'm not hearing you.
Let me check something.
Okay.
So Jess, darling, how is it that you know Michael?
He played a few years ago. Actually, I guess it was about 9 or so years ago. He played for the family I work for, and I've had a hand in raising his daughter.
So has he ever met this daughter?
I'm going to assume no. Has he?
He was around for the first couple of years of her life before he was actually like fully banished out of the court.
It's been some years, but yes.
Odd. I never pictured him as a father. He's too full of himself.
I think it's an act.
Clearly, you must either know him better than we do or think much more of him than we do.
I think very highly of him. I think
Confident.
he's charming.
Is this your first trip away from home, darling?
Yeah, yes. But, I mean, it's been some months. I miss Layla. But, you know,
Is it
things got
Layla? Is that his
complicated.
daughter?
That's his daughter, yes. She looks nothing like him. Maybe the eyes.
Are you sure he's the
I'm very sure. Angela's not the type to, you know, mess around, and she's very, you know, they were in love. It was very sweet. She talks about him all the time, or she did for a while until things got complicated. I don't want to say too much. I'm sorry. I've said too much.
As she's talking about this and explaining this, Rihanna just kind of gets this look on her face and kind of reaches up and absentmindedly starts, like, touching the stone on the necklace she's wearing as if she's thinking about something.
That's a lovely necklace.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
And then a moment or two later, Michael will rejoin you.
Okay, so I have a proposition for all who would like to join me.
All right.
I'm all ears. Or horns and tail, whatever.
Listening.
This isn't going to be the easiest thing, and I can understand if those of you amongst this will not want to join in on this. But looking at how the kingdom is going, how things are continuing here, Raina, Frik, we definitely have to go because they are going to continue to search for us, and it's going to cause issues for the brothers.
Yes.
But we can still try and not only get back at the kingdom for what it's done to us and putting us in this situation in the first place, but there's a very personal matter for me, and that you now know, in trying to continue the fight.
And
I
guys,
know.
No, go ahead.
It's actually my lands that I was intending to buy at one time and still have the cash to do so. We could go there and we could slowly try to operate from out of there and try to build up enough influence in the next 8 months to at least interrupt the potential wedding of the mother of my child to King Wilson and continue to try and disrupt Victor's plans here within the capital.
Troublemaking.
Hair cut out for me. Sorry.
Carrie, one more time.
Oh, I said. Okay, I said. I look at Michael and go, oh.
Carrie, you might need to turn your video off or the quality, the broadcast quality. I think that's where the interference is coming from, unfortunately. Sorry I have to ask you to shut everything down, but
Carrie's just so pretty, it's breaking the internet.
we're trying to run through so many different programs that... Okay, now please try to talk. It's you and me,
Now,
Jesse.
am I clear now?
Yes, I'll let you know if there's any breakup.
Yeah, because I've been having trouble hearing you guys half the time, so.
That's probably it. So yeah, shut things down if you need to, guys. Okay, you were saying troublemaking?
Oh yeah, when he's proposing to do all this from a distance and just sort of infiltrate, I just kind of look at him and smile and say, "Oh, troublemaking? That's my specialty."
One with such a pretty face shouldn't always be able to make such great amounts of trouble.
Well, I've learned how to manipulate things a few ways over the years.
It'll be an honor to have you helping.
Well, it is your daughter and Angela who are at risk, so I understand the need and the urgency that you feel.
Thank you. Now, Jesslyn, you don't have to join in on this at all.
Of course I'm joining in on this.
And you, sir, I do believe that your name was Viserys, am I correct?
Yes, Viserys.
You don't have to join in on this at all as well. I know that any fight here within the lands of us are nothing that the High normally tend to deal in, but if you could in any way join us and help, that would be much appreciated on my own lines.
Although human frivolities do not interest me, this sounds rather pleasing.
Thank you.
Join you. Everything to gain.
Well, I guess it's been decided then. What do you say, Frik?
Well, needless to say, Michael, do you believe in fate?
Yes, oddly enough, I do.
I just think I just had some time to meditate. I just find it kind of odd, just the unlikely team that we seem to assemble. As if my hand has been guided to something great for the first time. So needless to say, I'm on your side. Anyone that comes close to you, any of you, make sure that they regret that decision. You have my word.
All right, Michael, just so I know, the place you're talking about, was that the one we discussed in chat?
Yeah, that is.
Because that was a couple weeks away horseback. You're in the capital. You were talking about a small farming village. That's a little ways off, man.
Well, we still need to get outside, though, because either way they're going to be hunting us down pretty hard.
Well, as the monks have explained, they are warded from any sort of scrying spells, and they have very thick doors.
Yeah, but at the same time, Brother Thorn was saying that we need to get out of here.
Yes, because you can live in the monastery. They will let you live there for the rest of your life. If you leave the monastery, you are open to scrying spells. You might be recognized because two of you stand out in a crowd. No, three of you, because you can't go unnoticed if you tried. You will start singing, and then you will be spotted by someone. That's what he's warning you about.
Oh, I was actually thinking that it was like a thing of they're actively hunting you down.
Well, if there are apparently there are rumors about you spreading in town, that's what he's concerned about, because you've all made an impression on the people in a day. And Victor doesn't, if he sees that picture of Rihanna or he hears a rumor about revolt, he's going to trace it back to you guys in your description. He will be looking for you, but he can't see you inside the monastery, is what I was attempting to say.
Oh, because oh yeah, that
And
was
that,
completely...
and you're asking, Brother Thorn to incite war and treason, and those are not his areas.
No, they aren't. But at the same time, as things go on with Victor, he's going. It's quite well known that Victor's already trying to instigate war.
Yes.
With yeah.
He doesn't deny any of that, but he took a vow, and he will see that through, and he will not start that war. But like I said, you guys did him a great service. You protected not only the artifact, but you protected their secret, because most people don't know about those artifacts. That's their public face, is that they help with burial services. Is connivers and spies and thieves who know a little bit more of their secrets. So they will keep you safe as long as possible, but if you go out and you get spotted, they can't help you. So they will not break into jail to save you, is what I'm saying.
At the same time, it's going to be quite insulting if we use them as a base of operations to work out of, though.
And if you start crossing certain lines, they might say something then. But right now, Brother Thorn is thinking that you're all willing to leave, and he's going to try to get you on a caravan. So that's the information you know right now. So continue.
Michael, just a thought, dear. But I'm kind of good at sneaking about and getting information from people, and I've acquired a few items that would make that much easier for me. We could stay here for a while, and I could, be your eyes and ears and get what you need for information so that we can try to take down these disgusting men.
Yes, but what about Frik? He's pretty much trapped here. An 8-foot-tall bugbear of Frik's size. No offense, but you are quite captivating in all ways, Frik. Is going to be quite noticed the second that we go outside.
I blame genetics.
Well, I suppose that when we decide to leave here, I could always loan Frik my hat of disguise, and I could just, I don't know, figure out another way, perhaps.
Doesn't the hat disguise need attunement?
Crap, yes it does.
Yeah, it does. Wait a second.
Serious, you knowing a good deal about magic, give me an Arcana roll, please.
Arcana.
Okay, I'm going to say that is enough that you could certainly share certain information about scrying spells if you guys want to try to, start planning an exit. And one of the big ones would be that, they need to, having met you, Victor could probably cast something on you, but it tends to be, if you were inside the monastery and you were warded, then that means that, anytime he tries it, he can't try it again for at least a day, as I understand it, or as you understand it. So it's the sort of thing where he has to know to look for you. He may not know you're alive. You are certainly free to go out into town. Like I said, um, Michael might be noticed by people at the bar. Frik definitely has to do something. And Rihanna, there's pictures of you floating around town after just a couple days.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, and the scrying spell, I think, would still capture you, even if you were disguised as well.
Yep.
Because it's based off of your spiritual self.
Well, then they won't find me. I have no soul. It died a long time.
And all of that is assuming that Victor even knows to look for you. I mean, you're playing with a lot of wild assumptions, and they came from Brother Thorn, who plays it very cautious.
Well, if we're going to take down a king, we have to play very cautious.
I'm not sure those statements actually go together. There's cautiously kill a king.
It happens.
Well, if Jesselyn and Viserius here are wanting to help us, perhaps we can use them. He has not met them, and perhaps they can, or at least do some scouting.
One other thing you would know, of course, is that you're in the capital. It is a huge city. So if you want to, the further you get from the center, the less and less likely guards are going to bother roaming around. They protect the high end. They abuse the middle class. They don't even really care about the lower class, and that's where, you don't walk down dark alleys in the lower class district, if you know what I'm saying. There's not too much protection.
Is the Prancing Pony in that part of town?
That's more the mid class area.
Okay.
So
Come
it's
and
pretty
see the
safe for
violence inherent in
vendors.
the system.
So again, you actually do have places that you might feel comfortable walking around. A lot of the non-human types who are being ostracized, like elves, if they got money, they can live in the higher class because they are at least respected. But other non-humans were probably, the less and less valued they are, the more likely they are to get pushed out. So Frik, still, I can't say you'll blend in everywhere, but there's other non-humans in the lower districts.
And actually, now that I recall it, Michael, I'm not really sure why they're blaming you for inciting the revolt. I think if I remember correctly, part of my conversation with that poor boy is I actually made that suggestion. So that might have been my fault, but somehow it's attached to your face.
Under normal circumstances, I probably would be a little bit insulted by that. But under these, I'm just going to take it and run with it. You've managed to inspire something, and I'm just going to continue and carry it.
So, what do we want to do? Are we going to stay here, where we're protected, or are we going to leave the city and try to work from outside the city? I'm not sure that's really safe. There's so many people here, it's easier to kind of get around and...
What are the benefits of leaving?
A place to hide out, the ability to move without exactly being seen. We could start creating whispers out there.
Yes, but if we do that, and we start from out there, and they make it to the city, they'll be able to backtrack where it's at, and then they will find us eventually in time.
We stay here, they're going to find us eventually in time. It just all depends on, do we want to make the area do we want to make a level playing ground for them or ourselves?
Fair point. Frik, what are your thoughts on this?
To be very honest, I'm torn. I feel safe here, but also I do not know much of the outside world. It's fear of the unknown, so to say. I don't have much to add, and I apologize.
Fair enough. Well, Visarius, Jesslyn, you two are new to this town, so I'm not really sure if it's in our best interest to take them with us. We're just putting them in danger, Michael.
Visarius, in the rise of Van Halan, what was it that was done by the lordship when Tiananag had fallen?
Young to remember that. In my room or with tutors and nannies. I paid no heed to the occurrences outside of my domain.
So essentially, you were a coddled, arrogant, pompous little ass.
Everything except for the ass.
If you say so, darling.
I'm taking up dishes, by the way, if everybody's done eating, so I'm working on cleaning up.
Michael doesn't actually hand over his plate to you. Instead, he takes them away from you. He takes all the others' plates away from you. Jesslyn, we're not home, and you haven't been a servant for many years under me, so don't worry about this.
I tried telling her that once already.
Well, someone should take care of it.
And we can do it?
Guys, I need to step away for just a second. Please keep the conversation going.
All right.
Well, you know. Go ahead, Jess.
I was just saying I don't mind.
Well, that man that you two were traveling with, Malik, which clearly is not his real name, but that's how I've known him for at least 10 years. I think we should perhaps talk to him and see if he has any suggestions as well. He's a very crafty person. I learned some of my skills from him in our travels.
Speaking of travels, who was it that he was talking about? Or at least who were the two people that you mentioned to him?
Oh, they're just other people that were part of our group back then. And I absentmindedly start touching my necklace again, and just I'm visibly uncomfortable because I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Michael just backs away from that then.
Look, I want to help, so, Michael, whatever you want to do, I want to help.
I want to bash in Angela's father. I want to bash in Angela's father's head, but
No, no.
I know.
Okay.
I know, Jesslyn. He's been quite well to you and your family, but look at everything that he's cost me, and the position that he's now put Angela into.
I think he's in a position as well. It's not favorable.
Mm.
But I do wish he had given you a chance.
Well, I did set fire to his stage.
Not on purpose.
No, true.
It wasn't on purpose, right?
No, it wasn't on purpose. The wig caught fire. It wasn't meant to. But then
Okay, I mean, because sometimes you have some crazy antics at your shows, you know, and sometimes you go a little overboard. No offense. I don't mean any offense.
Yes, putting the candelabras that close to the ship was not a good idea. But at the same time, it made everything look so much better, and it worked the first time.
It would have been nice if it hadn't gone, you know. I'll go wherever you go.
What's everybody's skill set? Well, I know myself and Frick's and Reyna's, but Jesslyn, what have you been studying? And Viserius, what are your skill sets?
Magic.
What?
To blow things up and set things on fire.
Wonderful.
Oh. You and I are going to get along very, very well. Jesslyn, what?
Years of learning.
I do a little magic. Mostly healing.
Well, that would most certainly be an asset. I say we keep her.
I say we keep Viserius as well. The ability to blow things up is quite handy.
Well, yes, so long as he doesn't accidentally blow us up in the process.
I don't like that giggle over there.
I can assure you, my aim is quite accurate.
All right.
I use
On that.
I clean up the table and start cleaning up the table and the dishes with prestidigitation.
Michael uses prestidigitation to make them dirty again, and then he prestidigitates them to being clean.
I give him a look like, really?
Well, while you two are having a battle of the wills over who's doing the dishes, I am going to go find my friend Malik and see if he has any information or is willing to do anything to help us. Toodles.
Okay, and as you leave, you hear the sound of running feet and someone going, Frik! Frik! And in comes the brewmaster, Adam. Frik, there you are! And he's got a small bottle, like, I have made the best ale yet. Try it.
Please, hand it here.
It's just enough for a taste.
All right. I taste it.
All right. And with your dwarven brothers, you have done better, but this was really good for a human. Who the Keepers of the Dead, they're not as big on ale. Adam alone is their local drunkard.
Yeah.
So if you want, you can definitely spend a little bit more time helping him perfect that one, because he has a whole cask of it downstairs.
Oh yeah, it's a good one, Adam. Very good. Does it have a name?
Well, no, not yet. I mean, it just came out.
Give some time. Give it a name, and they could have something great here.
I was thinking maybe because this all was from you. This was your recipe. I'm thinking we call it Friktastic.
I love it. You have my permission to use it.
Oh,
love
thank you. Because I'm thinking this might be a whole new revenue source. We'll make it and we'll sell it to local bars, and because we need to pay for, and then he knows it's the rest of you, adventurers. So we always need some extra funds. So he just rushes back downstairs to perfect Friktastic Ale. Reyna, you can ask around and someone will point you to where Malik is hanging out.
Okay. So I guess, I don't know, is he in a room with a door? Is he just like in an open area?
It is a room with a door, but the door isn't really shut. It's just a workstation where he was able to set up, and he's just over there reminting the old coins into the new coins.
Okay. I'll just kind of...
Yeah, he does have forgery skills. He's been working on making the proper molds.
Yeah, so does she, because that's where she learned it from.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of push the door open a little bit.
Right? And you just hear him muttering, "Damn, not there yet." And he goes back to tinkering with a mold.
And I walking silently. I'm gonna sneak up behind him and goose him because that's what I used to always do to him.
And he jumps and scatters coins all over the room. He doesn't even turn around. Damn it, Raina! It was like half hour's work just to get it.
I'm sorry. Here, let me help you. I'll clean up the mess. So, what have you been up to?
Well, I was trying to perfect the perfect likeness of King What's-His-Face.
Good luck with that. He's kind of an ugly, ugly man.
Well, I've only got these coins to work off of, and he's holding up, one of the newer coins, and he's going back to trying to get that mold a little bit better.
Well, what I actually meant, dear, was what have you been up to the last several years? It's been a while.
Oh, a little of this, a little of that, the usual.
Yeah, the usual. Running your scams still?
Well, I like to, there's more than just scams. I mean, scams are just one part of who I am and what I do. There's the flim-flams, the cons, the hoodwinks.
Oh, you are still the same old Malik.
And I will never change. Well, I change my name from time to time, but Malik's been good to me. As well as the actual Malik, Brother Thorn. He's not a bad guy. He just takes his work way too seriously.
Is he your brother?
Well, no, he's a brother because he's a monk. But no, he's not my brother. I knew him from when we were kids, and back before he got that stick installed in his spine.
Oh, his spine. I thought it was up his arse.
Well, I was trying to be nicer, but yeah. So when he said that they needed, because apparently to get your coins reminted here, you have to pay like 2/3 of your gold just to get some back. So I told him I would do it for a little less than that.
So you're familiar with this town and the current management of it?
Yeah, I got out when the wind started to change. I have a little bit of I mean, I know a few places, I know a few people, but yeah, I saw how things were happening a little while back, and I got out of town. You should really do the same, by the way. It's not a good place for you.
Well, I know, but now we have another reason to actually stick around, I think.
Attachments will get you killed.
You don't have to tell me that. I know that.
Well, then, why is it every time I see you, you're getting attached to someone else? I mean, you had your chance to get attached to me. Just saying.
Oh, Malik.
I remember that night perfectly. Okay, just saying.
I'm going to start shipping this.
Nope. Damn it.
And just because we are playing these characters in some other games, this is going to be considered a different universe. You haven't met broken, so different timelines. We're going to say, the first game that we were playing, that Friday game that fell apart, that's the version of Malik. We're not doing the one with everybody else, just because I can't keep all those timelines straight. So I got to keep them slightly separated for this game.
Well, no, that's fine.
So he's just looking at you. Like, do I need to remind you about our last evening together?
Probably, because I have no recollection of it at all.
He doesn't even wait for you to finish. It was a beautiful, moonless, starry night. And I said to you, my darling Irena, I must leave. We can go out, and we can rule the world in secret. And then he changes into you. Oh, Malik, you know my heart will always belong to you and you alone, but you must fly free, unhindered by anything even so important as love. He changes back into himself. Oh, my dear, my heart will always belong to you two, but if that is your choice, if you wish to stay with these other people and help show them how to have fun and how he's referring to the Holy Twins. Like, I know they need your help, but if you need me, you will always be able to find me behind this power. And he changes back into you. Oh, I will always be able to recognize you no matter what face you take, no matter what name you go by. And one day, I will throw it all away, and I will chase after every legend that even sounds like you. And he's just going to keep this going for another minute.
The whole time he's doing this, Rihanna's standing there with her arms crossed, giving him a dirty look.
It doesn't
And when
stop him.
I know. And when she gets a chance to actually get a word in edgewise, she says to him, "Oh, you were so incredibly drunk, apparently. I don't know who you had that conversation with, but it certainly was not me, darling. You know who my heart belongs to."
Yes. I will not steal that particular gem.
Yeah. So, no. So I'm not attached to anyone here. It's just that Michael, he's going to lose everyone he loves.
It happens. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sorry, but it happens.
It wasn't
Run,
right the way it
save
happened.
yourself. Michael, are you at the door? Or is that a separate conversation? Sorry, I'm having one and you guys are having one in chat, so I'm trying to... You're talking to
I
Visarius
think
right
he's
now.
giving Visarius.
Okay, okay, back to Reyna. Sorry.
Well, and until you've actually experienced that sort of loss, you cannot lecture me on what it's like and that it just happens. This
Don't
man
go
is
there.
Don't, no. That man is going to lose the woman that he loves and his daughter if we don't help.
And he turns back to his work. Well, won't be the first person to lose someone, won't be the last. We can't save everybody. And he's doing, just slamming down the molds and the presses.
Well, if you decide to stop being such an arse and want to help us, we could use your help. And I walk out.
And he'll chase after you. And look, I've already got one job here. I don't know anybody in this town. I mean, you want a couple of names? Sure. I can give you a couple of names to go talk to. Best bet, let Mal get you out of town. I mean, I'm sorry we can't get everyone out of town. I would love to evacuate this town and burn it to the ground. But people might notice a giant smoking crater. I prefer to be unseen. That's what you once believed in, I recall.
Yes, well, that was a long time ago.
So what do you want from me?
Use of your skills.
My skills are currently being contracted. What else can I give you?
Well, the obvious problem that we have is that Frik and I are unable to go out and be, unnoticed because of who we are. And, I've acquired a hat of disguise in my travels, so for me that's not a problem, but we need a way to help out Frik. And knowing what I know of you, I thought perhaps you would either know of something or somewhere or have something that we could use that would benefit us. That's all.
He stops. He thinks for a second. Okay, there's a couple of options. One, you can strap tree limbs to him and call him a walking tree.
I don't think that's going to work.
Okay, I don't know. Hang out in the Punk District. Nobody really seems to care what you are there. I mean, you'll probably get stabbed in the back by somebody, but I mean, there's plenty of other people there.
Okay. Well, thanks for your help and good luck with your services that you've been contracted.
Look, I am sorry that you decided to pick a fight in a place where nobody wants to stay, and let alone the 8-foot carpet is going to get seen no matter where he goes. I can't hide that. You can't even shave him because he still has the muzzle. You put horns on him, maybe you'll call him a minotaur. Actually, no, there is a minotaur in the punk district. He may not like that. He's a good guy, but still, I mean, you don't make fun of the guys with horns.
You are so infuriating. Do you know that?
That's the best thing I can give you. What do you want from me? I don't work. I work. Okay, I mean, yes, I work some magic, but I can't change his shape. I can change my appearance. I am limited to what I can physically do. You're asking miracles, and I don't do miracles. I do disasters.
You are right. You are right. I'm asking far too much from a simple man. Thank you. I turn around and I walk away.
Fine, be that way. And he slams his workshop door.
God, it's just nothing but a freaking scruffy nerf herder.
Grumpy looking.
I come back to the kitchen and I am looking kind of pissy.
I take it didn't go so well.
God, he just pisses me off so bad. He's lucky I didn't stick my dagger in his chest.
You would have regretted that.
Of course I would have. I wouldn't have actually done it. I'm not a monster.
And Raina, as about this time, you get a really quick whisper in your ear from no one at all. It just says, in Malik's voice, South Skint. It's less dangerous. You might blend in a little better there. No promises.
Where at? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
South Skint. It's the lower end of town. It's not as... Here's the punk district. That's where a lot of cutthroats hang out. South Skint is where, if you know, the poorer people tend to live. And yes, that is going to include the non-humans who just can't blend into proper society. I love using those quotes because I don't know how to describe a human-centric place. Gnomes and elves, they're at least, you know, they have they can be rich and they can have some influence. Halflings, they tend to be a little bit more jovial, so they like the middle district a little better. It's party people. So.
Okay, so I'm assuming he used a message to send me that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll turn around and kind of take a step or two away from everybody and quietly say, thank you. I do love you.
And it'll be a moment, and he'll it's the best I can do. Sorry, there are limits. And then he goes quiet.
Okay, so apparently our best bet, if we're going to stick around and not impose upon the brothers here, is to head down to South Skint district. I guess it's in the lower district where people such as Frik and I would not seem such an oddity. Hello?
I'm sorry. What? I've not heard of this place. What do you know of it?
Well, apparently was described to be as like a punk district.
Actually, guys, you were in town for a little while before being arrested, so if you want to do history rolls to see what you recall, in fact, okay, Raina, you've heard of the South Skint 5 minutes ago.
Exactly, because I wouldn't hang out there because there's nobody there worth robbing.
Michael, you don't care about anything that isn't at least, you know, up to your standard of living. Frik, you probably were in South Skint when you got arrested. Again, it is, you know, I think you personally, you're comfortable with everyone. You grew up with dwarves. You don't see anything past, will this person share their drink with me?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's where the poorer folks will live. And there are definitely a variety of, you know, there's a pretty decent variety. You do in fact know that yes, there is a Minotaur there. He runs. He works as a blacksmith, but he also has a small inn that is connected to the blacksmith. So not everybody really wants to try to get a room from him because there will be banging at all hours. I mean, there will be hammer work. There will be blacksmithing noises at all hours. So,
wow, I think I missed that.
It is the slums. It is the slums. We could easily just
the
get a
Punk
place and a
District
brothel.
is considerably worse. It's like its own. The Punk District is closer to the shady side of the docks. This is where the black market is, and we're talking about like selling bodies, not selling slaves, but selling bodies might happen in the Punk District. It is a little less common, but let's just say if you are a necromancer, that's where you would go to make your deals.
It's a favela.
It's where you definitely keep a pair of eyes in the back of your head. I mean, if you can actually cast that spell, you would do it there.
Oh man. Not wearing the mithril out there. Because that's pretty much like wearing the entire worth of the district.
Now, there is one other thing, because the monastery is technically, on the outskirts of town. So you can go and you can spend a day you can go to any part of town within a day, but it's not that far to South Skint from where you are now. And again, the brothers will let you leave and they'll let you come back. They will not bar their door to you unless, of course, you're being chased by a horde of angry orcs. Then they have to think about their possessions. So, I mean, you can go out for the day. They warn you against it, but they won't stop you. And as Viserys with his previous Arcana roll, I think he would have explained a little bit of how scrying works to his knowledge, and that is, so if someone has met you, they have a better chance at finding you again. But if they fail, like if you're inside a warded room for a couple of days, and he may or may not know to look for you, and how much time did y'all spend with Victor? Like 10 minutes? And he didn't seem to care much beyond, are these people who can do my job? You have options. You're not going to walk out and have the all-seeing eye of Sauron just staring at you, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just up to you what you want to try.
Michael, this is more or less your cause. What do you think?
I need to think on which way we're going to make the best impact towards this. If you guys feel that doing so would be best done within the capital, we can go through with that. But otherwise, my thoughts are still on we could probably do a bit more with stretching out their resources from going outside and possibly getting other cities turned. But I can understand if wanting to work from here, and given the ease of access towards our targets. We have 8 months to work with.
That's true. Perhaps a little time away from here, then we can come back eventually, and they will have forgotten all about us.
Yeah, I mean, some of you have heard this wonderful tropical area called Chalt. I mean, if you want to go, we'll visit the beach for, the jungle/beach for a few months.
Well, Michael.
That's me saying if y'all want to bail in town, I'll go out and buy a book and we'll run.
Has Viserys heard of Jolt?
Give me a roll.
Studies?
Whatever role you think is appropriate for Chalt. It could be Arcana, it could be History. There's a lot of different things that could work in that world.
I can say with utmost confidence, Frik would have no clue.
Okay. Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah, you absolutely heard about some of the things happening in Chalt. Apparently, anyone who gets too close to that region, if they've ever died and been brought back through magic, they're dying again. He and basically, you know full well there's this curse called the Soulmonger that is draining the life out of people and trapping their souls, so they can't even be brought back from the dead.
I relay this to the whole group.
You have
All right,
heard
so
that
we'll
it's a
go there, I
wonderful
assume.
tropical location outside of that.
Yeah, let's not go
Right
there.
there.
Michael, I will do what you think is best. This is your cause. Just don't get me killed.
And I'm by your side, Michael. And again, I apologize in advance if any of this causes trouble.
Andy, could I use a history roll to try and figure out which way would be best to go about this, given my own knowledge of the history of several of the kingdoms?
What are you trying to find out with this history? Send me one more time.
Um,
You're a little
given-
lower than the rest of them on volume. Let me try turning you up in. I forget we're in Discord. Let me turn you up just a little bit, and then we'll do this. I'll ask you to repeat yourself. Where
Excuse
are you
me.
at?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I've turned
Yes.
your volume up. A history roll for what?
History roll to see, from my knowledge of history, when coups have occurred, if it was easier for them to have been taken place from inside of the capital or from without, according to legends.
Okay, give me a history roll for that. That sounds good.
Doesn't Viserys there have a whole bunch of history books? Wouldn't you be able to get something out of those?
Michael, you know that occasionally coups succeed. Sometimes they end gloriously with legend. Sometimes they end hideously in legend, and they always make a good story. That's about it.
Can I interpret which ones were the more successful?
Dude, you rolled a
Based
10.
on- I know.
You are right in the middle. You know, half of them succeed, half of them fail.
And it's pretty much like pretty even from inside the capital or from outside the capital.
I mean, if somebody else wants to give me a roll, it doesn't have to be history, but if somebody wants to, or somebody just wants to make a counter argument to that, I'll allow just you to argue the point. Raina, you don't bother with coups. You just take what you need and run. Viserys, humans have wars? Interesting.
This.
I feel like out of character. I feel like we should stay in the capital just because there's probably stuff that you've got written up for us to do in the capital. Out of character, but in character, there's like several different things that my character's like looking at, going, it would probably be best for us to go at it from outside because then we don't have to put the brothers at a sort of very impractical impasse on according to their vows and what we're doing.
All right. Well, what I will tell you, as you know, the world I've been creating, I've left it open for what you guys try to do. I have a few ideas of who you might meet. I know in my head what's in motion and when it may or may not happen, but I don't know how you will influence those actions. So, in other words, if you want to leave town and try to build up your army, you have to go out and convince a bunch of peasants, you know, that this tyrannical king is worth fighting. And the further you get away from the capital, the more they only hear stories of people.
That's why I feel we'd be better off staying here, where we can sneak about, get information, cause trouble here and there to sort of assist our goal.
The only problem I see with that is that this tyrant king has too much influence over most of the people in this city.
Oh, but according to poor dear little Nikki, people are just scared here. If they can have something to help give them a little bit of a backbone, I think they'd be on our side.
It is logical.
And apparently, Michael and I are very good at convincing people to start doing horrible things against the king. So,
And Adam, the brewmaster, he kind of walks in and he's carrying a nice little, what for Frik is probably a decent sized mug. The most of you would call it a small cask, like a traveling cask. And he's setting down the Fricktastic. Ah, for you, my friend. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it over here, but why don't you just go out and ask the people? And he starts to turn around and leave like this was just the simplest solution. He doesn't really get out much. He is a monk, after all.
ask the people what, brother?
I'm sorry, but you are all supposed to be sophisticated adventurers with a variety of skills. You're telling me you can't just go out and talk to people and find out which way they lean without getting everybody killed? He clearly hasn't heard the stories, by the way.
Yeah.
He
I
sticks
sit
to his
down and
brewing.
I get this guy caught up.
Like, oh my God. You're not very subtle, are you?
No, we're about as subtle as a brick to the face, and I'm looking at myself right now quite ashamed because there have been greater heroes than myself. There's
Okay.
not been very much greater bards, but there's definitely been greater heroes out there that have been able to do this much more subtly than ourselves.
Well, yes, I mean, bards usually are the ones telling the stories of the heroes, so I guess that makes sense.
Well, that and I didn't think we were going to end up doing all of this. I figured I'd get our information, we'd find what we need, and they'd let us go, and we'd be on our happy little ways. But apparently, it didn't work like that. So, yes, now I have this poor lovesick little puppy dog boy running around, passing out pictures of me, trying to find me.
Oh, that's probably not good, but just let me ask you this. First off, Brother Thorn, he's a worrywart. I mean, he's the head of all of this. I can't even begin to tell you what he actually has to try to protect. I mean, we just got like this coffin that lets you sleep with the dead. Oh, I wasn't supposed to tell you that. That one's not that dangerous. I mean, so he spent a couple of days with Frik, and he bonded really, really quickly. So, like that thing that you guys just brought in is a coffin, and when you lie down in it at night, it lets you sleep with the dead, and they can tell you things. So you can see it's really good for information, but it's a big coffin. You can't really kill a person with that. You can just learn things, so it's pretty neat. But it's not nearly as dangerous as what else we have. But we have some really dark stuff.
What were the enchantments involved in that process?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's got some necromancy involved, but I don't do that. I brew potions and I brew beer. Mysterious.
Couldn't you potion to change
yeah.
Frik's appearance?
Sirius is writing all this information down.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't notice. Adam isn't that, he isn't the espionage guy.
Yeah.
But what he's telling you is that, Brother Thorn, he did come from the espionage route. That's typically Way of the Shadows. They are the thieves and assassins of the Brotherhood because they sometimes have to go in and steal what someone else has collected, whether they knew the value of it or not. Their artifacts are typically born of the power of tragic death, and that's a magic that not everyone understands. A necromancer might try to abuse it. Doesn't mean they understand how it came about.
So, Andy, that's your name, brother Andy?
Adam.
Adam, I'm so sorry, Adam. So if you're the potion master, is there any way that you could maybe whip us up a little something to help make our friend Frik here look a little less...
Tricky.
I mean, I suppose if I had the ingredients, I could make some sort of a polymorph potion, but I mean, it's not like I got that in the cupboard, and even then, I'm sorry, those are fairly expensive to concoct.
Are you sure?
Give me a persuasion roll. Like, just like I do, just need to look up uh, what that would entail because he's given it some serious thought.
Yeah, well, I just figured I would, try what I do best.
Yeah, and that's what you
Of
do.
course.
That, and, I might even try to apply him for some information for some more items that might benefit us, who knows?
All right, I'm having to look this stuff up somewhere else. So, all right, that's a 4th level spell. I would have to see like what the actual. Viserys, you were just working on this. How roughly what would it cost you to transcribe a 4th level spell? Oh, wait a minute. I got my guide here. Let me see what 4th level spells we're running.
I believe it's 50 gold per level.
So that would be
What's the time it takes into it?
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 gold for the spell. Crafting it would be half that, and I'm sure I've got this somewhere. This is literally him just thinking off the top of his head while I say all this.
They'll charge for the time that it took too. So
Yeah. He's thinking just off the top of his head, the base stuff. Okay.
And how exactly do these potions work? I mean, how long do they last?
Well, once you brew them, it would work the same as most magic spells. I mean, he's trying to think of a way to put this into layman's terms, and it's not really going well. But basically, given the time and the resources, I can mimic a lot of magic through alchemy. But some of them take a couple of weeks to brew if it's a strong enough potion. But if I do it right, it would say it would last about an hour. I just don't know why you just don't go to South Skint. I mean, I've seen a Minotaur. I've seen goblins who are welcome in South Skint. I mean, they're a little. People watch their pockets around the goblins, but some of them are okay. And he's still just sort of thinking and looking over things. But yeah, if I were to run this the same way as like creating a spell, he imagines it would cost over 1,000 gold, and it would take him 2 weeks to properly brew that one
Well, that's probably not going to work for our purposes then.
Yeah, the higher end potions are really hard.
So, okay, if potions are so complicated, I mean, you guys have a lot of little doodads and knickknacks around here that, do special things. Is there anything that you think might be useful in this situation that we might be able to borrow or buy off of the brothers?
And he's thinking, well, I mean, yeah, we do have all the, the normal, like you could probably buy this off vendors in town even. We have some of those sort of things. You'd have to speak to the quartermaster, and he doesn't give those out for free unless it's a mission. So you're not going to be able to make him think you're on an actual mission. But he might part with some stuff. Again, there are vendors in town that sell the same stuff he does.
Oh, well, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking things more along the lines of, like what they brought in.
Oh no! I'm sorry. If it's in the vault, if it's related, there's 2 vaults. Okay, there's the resource vault that has like the potions that I make, the handful of handy magical items that somebody might need to go out on a mission. And then there's the lower vault. I don't even go near the lower vault. That place scares me.
I see. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to come up with a plan, guys.
Oh, okay. Hope I could help. And he wanders off because he's got potions brewing.
Well, I'm sorry. One last question.
Yes.
You said we should just ask people how they feel. What are your thoughts about this king?
Well, I don't really leave the monastery. I hear what everybody else says. He's not a good man, but
So you don't think that the Brotherhood would assist us in our venture to remove this tyrannical king and make this place better?
Brother Malik cares about protecting life. This guy is evil, but there's a lot of evil people out there. Until the war comes to him, he won't start it. That's just his way.
Okay, fair enough. Happy brewing.
Thank you. And he wanders off.
So, we need to have a plan.
Michael has walked away from the table in the meantime, but what's the roll for a disguise kid? Is it Dex or Charisma?
I'm going to call it
I
charisma.
think it's charisma.
Yeah. Okay, what were you disguising? Because you did a great job at it.
I am disguising as as best as I can as a adventurer, as who's not myself.
Okay, yeah, you pretty much, if you were to walk back into the room, they would think that was a brand new person just walked in.
And I shall do so.
I would say, Frik might have the best chance of identifying you because he's got a stronger sense of smell than he used to, but you definitely don't look like yourself.
Not even a really good perception roll?
I'll go ahead and let you try it. He looks very, very different.
But can he resist walking in with his nose turned up and swagger?
That's what I would be looking for.
Yeah, I'm going to say that you spent 2 days with him. He is wearing the exact same clothes. So most of you are putting it together from context that a man walks out wearing one set of clothes, a different man walks in wearing a separate set of clothes, right as you're talking about polymorph. So, Jeslyn is a little confused by this. Frik, he thinks that somebody just beat up Michael and stole his clothes.
Actually, I do have I do have 2 costumes, but it is definitely somebody who is wearing his definitely looks like somebody who is wearing his obsidian monocle and his mithril armor.
Well, that conversation only took a few minutes with Adam. I don't think you were gone quite that long. Did completely change clothes.
Did anyone see where Michael went?
Darling, that is Michael.
What?
Yes, it is I.
She's so green. Are you sure we should take her?
Jeslyn is somebody that I trust with my life.
Okay, good enough.
I say that we do exactly as Brother Adam suggests, and we go out and we walk and among these among the common rabble, and we try to figure out the current standing.
Okay, and which part of town do you propose we go to? And do we bring our good friend Frik with us?
Yes, leave that to me. I can disguise him like a different bugbear.
Are we just taking
How are you going to do that?
I have many different ways and an entire disguise kit at my disposal.
I also have those abilities and that at my disposal. So I think between the two of us, we should be able to do a good job of it.
So you're saying you're gonna give me a makeover?
Maybe a little bit of a haircut?
And some makeup?
Worked hard to grow this.
I have some ribbons.
I have wigs.
Oh, I'm gonna look so pretty, aren't I?
Frik,
Oh, yes.
If you
We will
allow
be
it,
beautiful.
if Frik will allow it, you can have a roll at advantage. But this is only if he will sit still and let you do it.
We'll make him look like a female bugbear. How about that?
Yes, I want this. Oh God, I want
Okay,
this.
someone give me a roll at
cross-dressing bugbear.
advantage.
Hey,
Okay.
he does not resist.
Okay, yeah, you do your best to make him look like he is a female bugbear. Fortunately, to the human eye, thank you. Yes,
I like it.
to the human eye, there isn't a whole lot of distinction. It's more of a subtle thing, like dwarves are really like how a dwarf, when they're talking to humans, they always sound basically the same, but to each other, there's all the subtlety, beneath the surface. So
It's the beards.
yeah. And so anyway, for Frik, you're using a lot of what he's telling you is different about bugbears, and
Yeah.
you think you made a very different looking bugbear.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
he's
I
got
just
pretty
read-
ribbons, and maybe you guys put like a frilly dress on him.
Yeah, and I imagine
Nobody has a dress that big.
Well, it would have taken a little bit of alteration, I
We
assume.
take the tablecloth and wrap it around him.
I didn't
make a
say
shirt out
it
of
fit very well. We're going with Wookiee standards that he doesn't need to have full
Yeah.
clothes on.
I can take the tablecloth and wrap it around his waist. And
Yes. So yeah, you
I'll take
rip down the curtains, and you're sewing up while they're making up, and now he has a pretty flowery dress.
Taking measurements.
Oh my
And grab another
God.
one and wrap it around him and do it kind of like a halter top and stuff the front a little.
Yes.
the
So-
skirt kind of stands out like a tutu.
Yes, it does.
We are definitely, we have entered into Shakespeare in the Park.
Guys, when I said I didn't plan out, I never imagined this one. Yes.
Seriously, you know us. How do you?
I know, but still, Fricka.
Hello.
Oh my god. This is Buckler with his Doubtfire.
And this is when another monk comes walking in, and he's like, and he backs back out the door and doesn't say a word.